I'm Dr. Edward Kammerer, Chief Quality Officer, Mosaic Life Care. So one of the other common thoughts out there is that the original scientists who were working on the mRNA had some grave concerns and alerted the FDA that there were problems with this. You have to understand that mRNA has been under development for 30 years. So this technology has been investigated and undergone multiple different renditions. And some of the people early up front had some concerns. The reality is the techniques we use today and the mRNA technology that's available today is not the same as some of the original founders who were voicing some concerns in the distant past. The reality is, like every other new technology, we have to learn to understand it, but this is going to be a quantum leap forward from what we've done in the past. This is going to revolutionize the way we make vaccines, medications, gene therapeutics in the future. All this is going to be built upon this type of technology. So again, this is probably the biggest quantum leap that we've had with regards to vaccinations in the last 50 years. It would have taken 10 years to form a vaccine by the traditional methods, and there would have been far more people who have suffered inside of this world had we not been able to do this with the mRNA technology. So the other great concern that we're commonly hearing is that about fertility, especially when we work in a hospital system where we have a tendency to have younger workers and fertility is oftentimes an issue. So that being said, let's review kind of the fertility issues and the information surrounding COVID vaccination. So there is zero evidence that the vaccination causes any problems with regards to fertility. And again, looking at history, this would be extremely unusual if that were to be true. We've all received multiple immunizations in our past. And in fact, if you look at the armed forces, they receive 2 to 3 times the number of vaccinations that we receive as a general population, and their fertility rates are just the same as the general population. So in the history of vaccinations, we can't say at all that vaccinations have ever historically caused any problems with infertility. And thereby, I don't really believe that this one does either. This is supported by the American College of Gynecology and by several bodies, professional bodies, who agree that this does not cause any issues with fertility. Ultimately, I think this has to be addressed because, again, this is one of the reservoirs of people who can lead to a potential site for infection and ultimately for the mutation of the virus. I really don't think there's any big issues with fertility. In fact, during the studies of the vaccination, there were several women who got pregnant during the studies. Aside from infertility, some of the other things that we've heard are there's issues with regards to heavy periods after having your vaccination, or amenorrhea, or inability to have or loss of periods. So with that being said, again, there's no evidence to suggest that there's any correlation. One has to be careful to not associate cause and effect, and to understand that there is oftentimes linkage but not cause and effect. So one of the most common cars to die in is a red car. Now, in all honesty, I don't believe that red causes people to die in car accidents. I drive a red car and I have a red pickup. That being said, everybody loves a red sports car. Sports cars are associated with young men. Young men are associated with speed, and speed definitely does kill. But statistically, you can link red cars and death. Now, I think most of us would agree that red has nothing to do with making you crash your car. So consequently, that's an association, but is not cause and effect. There has been no demonstration of cause and effect with regards to fertility or menstrual issues with regards to the COVID vaccination.